Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series, Americas. I am Nathanius, joined by the one and only In Control.
Thank you.
How are you today, sir?
Today's a good day. We're commentating some StarCraft. It's beautiful weather outside, I'm told, and I'm excited. I'm glad
There's no
to hang out with you
windows.
guys.
There's no windows here.
No.
Are you sure?
It's
You
dark
sure that
dungeon.
it's nice out?
Like I said, I was told. I don't know.
Okay.
Didn't experience it.
No.
It's honestly how I'd like it to be, though. Have you seen the movie The Matrix or the movies?
Yes.
Experience the weather nice. Go outside. What is it? Nuclear fallout. The sky is scorched.
That's true.
Not good.
Well, at least we know that if that was happening right now, we're still alive and we're still here. And that's really all that matters. Let's be honest. So, well, don't say this. Make a decent set for, like, if there was, like, a horror movie going on. Like, I could see being trapped in here in the darkness would not be cool. No.
For like a horror movie?
Yeah. Like, if you think about the
that.
way that this studio is laid out, like, the facility-wise, like.
I'm not even kidding you. One of those weekends we had Ravi here. He was like, I ate something weird. And he, like, coughed. And I thought to myself, I was like, if that was the beginning of, like, a zombie apocalypse and he, you know, bit Rosa and Rosa wandered over and bit some crew person, I was like, how would I get out of here, Burbank, you know? It'd be tough.
Oh, yeah.
Because security would stop you. Like, you have a badge to get out? Be like,
You
yeah,
got to turn your badge in before you get out of here, man. You don't see people are being eaten alive. It's
Get the
like,
proper credentials, dude.
it's like, well, that door is only for people here for Overwatch League. I'm like, oh, my God. We are loaded in to our
Bonnie Cristo walks out. Hey, everybody. Bit. Oh, that's not good. Doe, what about you? Well, I'm turning into a zombie, too.
top right position. We have our now American Zerg player. He is TLO.
Isn't that funny? We used to make the jokes about claiming him as American, and then he just did it.
Yeah, it was inevitable.
And all it took was the love of a woman to finally take that German scientist and make him American.
Love is a powerful thing.
It is.
And his opponent in the top left, our American Protoss player. He isn't a VHS, he is DisK.
Alexandre Cornu. Oh, he's a French-Canadian, isn't he? Oh, I'm almost certain of it.
We'll have to find out. Someone will crunch the numbers. Zombie Grib will let us know, I'm sure.
She is the well, actually, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was there to tell us that apparently Amon was always a space whale before he was a Xel'Naga, although I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think he was just a normal dude who turned into a space whale when he became almighty.
Happens to the best of us. I would have asked for a better body, though.
Yeah. Well, that's what that whole movie thing next week is going to be all about, is people turning into space whales to fight each other. So.
Movie thing? Oh, Avengers.
Yeah, just space whales everywhere. That's what I'm waiting for.
Thank you for not making me patient zero.
There you go.
Oh. Miss Rosa's watching. Now, to be fair, Rosa says her as patient zero, but technically in my story, it's Ravi that ate something weird and then fights Rosa.
Yeah,
She becomes patient one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'd have to be Ravi, because he has the most unique diet out of any of us. Fear Dragon, like, he's like a super vegan or whatever.
He is actually one of the nicest guys about it, though. A lot of times when you take a vegan to a restaurant, they're like, what do you got on the menu? And they're like, such and such, such. They're like, do you have Brussels sprouts sprinkled over pita bread? And they're like, of course not. That sounds stupid. They're like, well, I'm a vegan, and I don't. And then they get like all huffy puffy about it. Ravi just kind of quietly looks down the floor.
Yeah.
A single tear falls out. And
Fear
like,
Dragon
okay.
Fear Dragon's one of the guys that doesn't tell people he's vegan, so he just shows up to places and can't eat.
Yeah.
Which is unique, right? Because you'd think he's right on there with, you know, other vegans.
Because he's not a vegan by choice.
Keto
His
people.
Body decided he's a vegan. But here's, if you guys wanted to know the conspiracy, and this is, I'm glad I'm talking about this now because there's no way Ravi's watching StarCraft because he doesn't, you know.
You think Fear Dragon watches StarCraft?
Come on! What? Anyways, he can't eat cheese unless it's on a pizza, which sounds like something.
That sounds like something a cheater would say.
7-year-old brother would argue.
Yeah,
like, I don't want your grilled cheese unless it's on a pizza.
I can't eat pork, but what was that, bacon? Well,
yeah,
bacon's... my body makes an exception for bacon.
Second he said that, I've been sneaking bacon into each of his meals here, and I've waited for reaction. There's been none. I'm just kidding. Don't actually do that. It's super mean. I did not do that.
Yeah. So some very light harass, by the way. DisK just kind of poking with an adept. As we could talk about this game a little bit, I suppose.
It's 0-0. We got 45 minutes. Don't we?
Too real. Too real. Everybody in chat, before anything starts happening, make sure you've got your popcorn or whatever.
Why does every series start
down.
with 0-0 too? Something just got canceled there, by the way.
It's because this map is because it always goes long. People just feel like they can get comfortable and warmed up, I guess. I don't know.
Second Stargate.
They're like, these games never end fast, so I can get comfortable, get a feel for how my opponent likes to play the game.
Try to think scenario. You cannot.
Oh yeah.
The scenario.
Well, when you're playing against Dario, the problem is the longer the game goes, it's actually the further into the labyrinth you're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's it behooves you to try and end it fast, because otherwise you fall into the maze of the inner machinations of his mind, and
B, what's you?
it's a dark place.
B, what?
What?
It'd be what you?
Behooves you. I love you too, Jeff. Phoenix
Just
coming
asking. Just checking there. Wouldn't be a commentary with me if there wasn't the subtle hint of my seething hatred for everything, everyone else, I guess.
Well, I mean, I definitely like to use words that I may or may not be an expert on, like any American. So
Yeah, you have to.
yeah, I'm just
We're all not experts on most words, I would say.
Yeah, just
I
a
am an
product.
expert on the word pizza, though. I will use that correctly every time.
Yeah, it is hard to misuse the word pizza. Misusing pizza itself. Well, if you've been to Southern California, it gets misused a lot. So
It does.
double Phoenix into double Robo, and the TLO is just building roaches and going into Hydras, and this looks.
Yeah, he's
so,
been the less creative one in this one.
Yeah, so very interesting. Well, that's right. Isn't that what he was saying was his weakness? Is that America's players are just too weird? So.
Well, I think that's the EU build order, right? Like when you're forced to play NA players, you have to first kind of down talk them and talk about how you'll probably lose, but it's because they play so bad that you can't actually deal with it. And then after you win, just kind of shrug and be like, I guess I'm just that good anyways. But if you lose, you've preloaded your excuse. That's the kind of...
Yeah, exactly.
So Dario's here in WCS NA, but like him winning or losing, it's already a foregone conclusion. He's better than everybody, but...
If he loses, it's only because his opponent did a strategy that
It's
was
so
bad
Yes.
that he could never have possibly accounted for it being an option.
Right.
And we say that he's got 3 spores in his main mineral line, Jeff.
So creative.
And 3 spores in his natural mineral line, Jeff.
Tell me about his third.
And 3 spores
Oh my god.
in his third mineral line. And this is, honestly, this is like, it's like looking at the scars,
Yeah.
you know? Because Dario's like,
He's felt it before.
he's like, it's like I've played against Europeans who do double Stargate, and they stop at some point, but the Americans never stop.
They keep going.
It's like he'll come in. It's like I tried to build just 1 spore, and then he came in with 30 Phoenix, and I was like, oh.
He's played against Roddy then.
Yeah, which is weird because you would think that he would have that practice from EU at least, but no, not in the same way.
He's getting Burrow, and he's getting the pathogen glands for infestors, which is interesting, because I did see a robotics bay finish for our Protoss player DisK, but he has not so far used it.
Do you think he's going to try and pull a sneaker with like Unburrow or an infestor real quick and get like a fungal on the Phoenix? Maybe some infested Terrans?
I just like that we're seeing infestors in general. I think they're so powerful. It was kind of... I think it was just a matter of like meta or everyone following the leader that nobody made infestors for a while
People
there.
discounted them a little too much, I think.
It is Colossus. Interesting. And very good intel from Mr. Dario here. So Colossus with Blink, not bad. Infestor's not super amazing there, but they're still okay. Like, again, the takeover of the Colossus. Fungal, okay. One of the rare misses with a fungal. It actually caught 1 Phoenix. So not a miss, technically, I guess. Maybe he actually specifically only wanted that one.
No. Well, last time that TLO was playing tournaments in America, he probably had insta-cast fungal, right? So it's just a reflex. Yeah. The body adjusts like time zones, but this obviously changed here too. Gets the Overseer there on the south side, and the Phoenix just continue to run around, but double Colossus production. Spire starts for TLO, though. And...
But the follow-up...
Get away. Oh, okay, just 1. Would it be worth it to chain for the Phoenix here, do you think?
Not really. He's adding his own Spire, but you know that's for Broodlords.
He's got a Viper coming out. It looks like he wants to try to knock down this 4th base. Shut it down. It's not really a crazy amount of army.
Phoenix can grab this, by the way, too. If the Infestors come along with this, there's no exit path. Like, this is actually so bad for Dario, potentially. He will get the cancel, or at least the kill in the Nexus. Yeah, there's the kill. And I guess it doesn't have to be bad for him, as the Phoenix all kind of throw themselves away.
Yeah, the Infested Terran help a lot with pushing units away in this situation, too, so...
And his army will get away. Not the Infested Terrans, though, but they never get away.
No. Well, they don't live longer than, what is it? I think in real time.
Well, as far as they choose, right?
24 seconds or something, yeah. Yeah.
Those guys are pretty grimdark. This is like it is a game of war. The game does a good job of disguising that for a while. Until Infested Terrans run out of the will to live, I suppose.
Yeah, whatever you would
bad.
call it, yeah. The death animation for Infested Terrans that time out is pretty brutal.
Not as... I still think the most brutal is Changelings that get tagged. They unzip.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
They're also kind of weird looking because they don't look very bug-like the rest of Zerg.
Yeah.
It's like a dude in there, dude. Like an alien dude.
So you got Corruptors coming out. Greater Spire is on the way. Fleet Beacon does start up.
Man, I can't believe this Year Zero game.
Yeah.
Going the distance, it feels like.
You know, I'm always surprised when I see a Year Zero game go long in Control.
Yeah.
I feel like if we were going to try to speed it up, it had to be aim on it, just attacks both players, right?
Yeah.
Like, that would be it. Yeah. Yeah. That would
Bring
be
me the Kerrigan.
You just like, oh, did you fly over him? Like, the tentacles actually just eats your units that fly by. Like the neutral missile turrets.
Yep, Corruptors will make themselves known, so that's actually pretty good information for our Protoss player. It will come at the cost of this Warp Prism, of course. Or will it?
Wow.
Dodged it. Anyways, he now knows he's getting Storm, and he's got some Tempest already coming out. So the Army Comp is correct for DisK, and one of the nice things to watch for here, too, is like, do you have 6 Sentries? Do you have 7 Zealots? You know, we were very critical of Harsam's army composition, I think for good cause, as we end up seeing. This army composition is a lot more refined, I would say. The Colossus actually, weirdly enough, have a place in the Broodlord battle. Now, if the game goes super long, to like 40 minutes, no, not so much. You don't care about the role of the Colossus as much there, and you want to get to pretty hardcore air mode.
Wow.
Gets it all.
Nice. We have Broodlords coming out, +1 melee, and also the Nidus network. So let's see what he can get done there. He's trying to get a little bit of vision, but that's not going to happen. Goodbye.
What we just saw off screen there is the most harrowing thing, by the way. That's going to be a cannon ring around the main base. Show it to him, Awesome Sauce. Look at it.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
Well, he's thinking he's like,
really buttoning down for the long game.
This is, I mean, it's also solid anti-Nidus play, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
It is.
Seems about as America's a thing you could do.
It's just anti-caster play.
Yeah, no.
Likely. There
Did
it
you
is.
guys hype this game up?
He's like,
I haven't seen enough 45-minute long games on Year Zero. All right, so Dark Shrine's going to finish. I think that there's probably Spores and Spines going up everywhere now, too.
He's actually maxed, by the way, so had a Nidus gone up inside the main, he'd probably have to recall back to deal with it. As a Protoss player, you almost don't want to ever be maxed, so getting rid of those Zealots would be nice, so that you can warp in the DTs to deal with something like that, or a Ling run by or whatever.
Yep.
Whoa, that blink, though. Patience would be proud. Here he comes. He jumps on top of it, gets some of the Infestors. Blinding Clouds kind of whiff as well. Templar are just out there, now dropping their Storms. That's okay, but it comes at the cost of just about everything. And it is off creep, so there's a chance for retreat here. But that fight started, it was like a scheduled bar fight, but no, it was like a flash mob. Like, they knew they were all there to fight, but they didn't know who they were supposed to fight, so they just kind of started punching old ladies and people and stuff like that, and they figured out the fight midway.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward, to say the least. And I mean, it's not like there's a crazy amount of Hydras there either. That Colossus Tempest is powerful, but he's going to pull it back. Of course, all the meat of the army was gone, right? The Stalkers die, so there's nothing that can really tank for them. That Warp Prism's going to try to get away. I think he's got gravitic drives. We should be able to scoot on out. That's a fast prism.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the lore behind a warp prism is it's a crystalline structure, right? Like it's not piloted by anything. It's a robot.
Yeah, I mean most everything Protoss is just robots, right?
No.
Are they
Most
all
everything.
piloted? You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at their picture. Their animated portrait is usually a Protoss pilot of sorts.
Yeah. See, I'm confused by some things. Like the Raven's very confusing because it looks like it has a person there, but it talks the robot voice. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could just be like the way their microphone works, I guess, on the Raven.
Yeah, that might be it. Or maybe they just have weird robot people that pilot them.
Like back in Brood War, a little known fact, people didn't know this, but actually that was Dario inside a science vessel.
Wow.
Oh, that's where he comes
I did not know that. That's incredible.
Kind of a cool cameo. One of the first appearances of a player in the game. And now here comes that late game army composition. So the sentries for Guardian Shield and pretty strictly nothing else. Colossus cleaning up the
He's trying to get vision for the Nidus.
chaff, excuse me. Still more Colossus coming out of there. That's kind of weird. I wouldn't.
Oh, well.
Now Void Rays. I think there was also a Nidus attempt in the main. Well, these Lings just really wanted to get in there.
Yep, he wanted to get vision and nothing doing. I mean, you got the cannons everywhere, and obviously if there's units here, the Nidus is not as silly as it used to be. But this is what I was waiting for. This is what I was waiting for. DisK, he loves Void Rays in control.
Yeah.
He loves Void Rays. And, well, honestly, I was just hoping I'd be able to finally say that. And now I get to, so I'm satisfied. I'm done. I'm out. Peace to you.
Peace. I think he actually, no, he threw away, nope, there's the 2 sentries. Kind of keying in on this a little bit, but you certainly don't need to. And they actually kind of mess up your hotkeys, so I almost throw all of them away, which is just lazy StarCraft. He's a lot better in that, of course.
Yeah, but you're usually, right, you're not usually trying to get force fields at this point in the game.
No.
Guardian Shield.
It's just Guardian Shield. Maybe a hallucination or 2, but also at this late game stage, like, what are you even scouting for with the hallucination?
There were a bunch of drop overlords put together on the top side, and I'm a little here or there on it. We have DT Blink being researched.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Nate, we gotta mention that.
That's going to be interesting. I mean, if Fear Dragon was watching StarCraft, which is obviously something he doesn't do,
No, of course not.
he would be very happy about this.
Yeah.
So make sure, take a clip, send it to him. I'm sure he'd love it.
Yeah, probably. Or
But
at least
maybe
act like
maybe
he
you
loves
should wait until like a DT actually does the blinking, right? Like not just talking about getting it. Because he might be heartbroken if we talk about getting blink, but he never uses it.
it. Which isn't entirely...
It could be worse. It could be worse, right? It's like, well, yeah, my favorite player got signed and he didn't play a single down, right? It's like, well, what was the point?
Yeah.
So clears out some creep, doing a
the
little bit
dropper
of base
lords.
denial, and those dropper lords, they're making their way. One of them getting a little hooked on Amon over there. Well, he's not a dropper lord. Never mind.
He looks at, he just gave that little overlord a kiss too. Did you see that?
Well,
Not you, my friend. You're not a drop a lord.
that Amon's a charmer.
Let them go. If anyone can
So-
help me get out of this crystalline forest here, by the way, I'm kind of stuck.
And now the Protoss is maxed, so he has to recall over here to deal with this.
Yeah.
Not pull the probes. That certainly won't do anything.
And this is certainly one way to do it. I love bringing the infestors just because if he were to have any air units here, like they are just astoundingly good against them. He's got the Overseer to stop the defensive DTs. Pretty sick. I'm honestly, the only thing I was waiting for with this would have been like if he could do a Nidus with this now to retreat.
That would be top creativity.
Yeah. Or reinforce. You know?
I already like that he brought the Overseer, so it's like, yeah, go ahead and warp your DTs in.
Yeah.
I will actually destroy that.
That's Dr. Daria for you. So does he try to push in really hard with this army and then recall?
That's what he's doing. And the beauty of this drop, by the way, is it's a super not committed army at all. It's like 6 Hydras, 2 Infestors, and a handful of Lings, but it's just doing so much work. Ooh, he actually took over the mothership, but he's not pulling it back to kill it.
Yeah.
But you know what he's doing? He's killing the rest of the army. So
Oh,
it's fine.
Neural Parasite on the Void Rays, and those are actually very good against all of the rest of these units in his army. Then the Infested Terrans come out, and rocket launchers love Void Rays, so they are super dead.
Can we just make this pretty clear? I feel like Harsum and DisK got together, and we're like, let's just show them late game PvZ. And no, this is not perfect, but you know, someone's gonna be like, this, you can do it better. I know. It's just hard. This is not, on this map, fighting Broodlord, Infestor, Viper with like, you were talking about the 60 Spore Crawlers, and
69.
spine
Yeah, 69 spine
Yeah, it's
crawlers.
like, that's not a dream scenario for Protoss. It used to be back in the day when carriers killed everything, but now it's a hard fight, you guys.
Carriers have really had the wind taken out of their sails, so
Yeah.
it's just not. It's not a reliable. All I need to do is get 12 carriers and the game is over type thing.
I'd say take what you just said, but drop the D in wind. Do you get it?
Yeah, I got you there. It's because you don't win with carriers, right?
So
this Archon's gonna shut down the Noid.
it is, but the late game version of this needs to be you start like nine Nidus
Yeah.
not tentacles, tunnels.
Full campaign mode, right?
Look at this fight. Here comes
What?
the Protoss army. Let's see it slowly move over here. There
He's
it
gonna
is.
drop 5,000 infested Terrans and abduct the Tempest, and it's gonna be really ugly.
It's gonna be like this is late
Actually,
game D&D when
he
wizards
doesn't-
get overpowered and you're like still fighting with fighters and you walk forward but get hit by like 19 D6 damage lightning bolt and you're like, wow, that was crazy. But I could have attacked 4 times. They're like, yeah, you could have if you weren't dead.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you. And he's just got so many infestors. He doesn't actually have Vipers, but it doesn't really matter because you force a fight. All you do is force the fight by dumping all the infested Terrans onto the base. And this is what Nerchio didn't do versus Harsum very much, which was just do these counterattacks. The whole army is down there. Pick off a Robo, cut that production of those really powerful units in half, and force the Protoss to burn their warpins over there while your army retreats. A single Broodlord just kind of chilling.
Yeah, why not?
This army is very hard to engage. He's even gonna get a few ultras. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's a bit weird. You just don't need it, like whatsoever.
It's like, but the ultras can take so many hits from Sicaria.
That's actually Dario trying to swing this game back in favor of the Protoss. He's like, listen, we both have about the same bank. I'm doing really well. What I need to do is switch our army comp over to ultras real
It's
quick.
like this game hasn't reached the 40-minute mark, so it cannot end.
Yeah. They give the fans what they want.
Yeah.
Long games on year 0.
Yeah. Well, TLO is a fan favorite, so he's like, they should have as much of me as possible.
There you go. Does the Archon notice it? He's like, do you smell that?
Do you hear that? And he's like, looks at the glass of water.
Oh
it's like,
my God! It's over here.
Wait, isn't it? Okay, he just.
Oh, it absolutely will finish.
There we go. There we go.
And it is.
If it was just the one ultra, it's so creative.
What is this? Dario's trying to make this look harder than it actually is. Like, he's missing Funkles. He Nidus'd in an Ultralisk and 3 Hydras.
Start another Nidus.
Yeah, why not?
Do it.
Oh, you sent Zealots?
Yeah, he's like, send the
Good
ultra
joke.
to tank the. Nope, that doesn't.
The Ultra literally will just kill them all, yeah. That's fine. So that's the brilliance of this, is that... And then he's like, you know what? It's not Nidus. Let's just run in.
Yeah, I mean, that Cybercore's got a pretty big target. Oh, deny the mothership would be nice, too. He's got some options for these Zerglings. And he's got all the upgrades.
He chose the
for 'em,
worst
too.
one.
He's got all the upgrades for the Zerglings here, too. So, really, really nice. These guys are very, very difficult to deal with.
All right, DisK is having that moment we all have had where he's like, never mind, he's pulling back. I was gonna say he's gonna be like, no, let's go for it. Yeah, he is.
I cannot wait to see like 60 infested Terran blow up all the interceptors. Unless he gets some 6 storms all over them, but I don't know about
What?
Look at that Ultralisk.
It's brilliant. Okay, we're gonna have the big fight. DisK is done. He's like, okay, this is gonna be bad. He's on creep.
Fungals onto the High Templar. Storm hits an
Single
Ultra.
strangely.
And as soon as he forts this fight, it's just infested Terrans. Let's go. Watch those purple
Now remember,
rockets fly
Dario spent 4 Infestor's energies worth randomly, but it just doesn't matter.
Nope.
Takes over half the army, shooting up the rest. Fungals
Interceptors.
hitting absolutely everything.
Interceptors all dying. There's like 12 of them left now. Yeah, these carriers are all useless now. And he's going to mind control the Tempest to help kill the carriers even faster. GG! TLO. The Wunderwunsch takes game number 1.
There. All right.
That's a throwback.
I like it. Did he? I can't remember if he called himself the Wunderwunsch.
I don't even.
Yeah.
That one's lost to time, baby.
There's a guy on the European ladder that the name was Wunderwunsch.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's just a fan, right? You know.
I hope so. And my dream of dreams is Dario, though, on his like 5th account. Just like, that's me. Anyways, we make our jokes, and that's kind of honestly what we like to do on this America's side of this. But And this is not Balance Complaint. Don't in control the Protoss player. No, I'm not. Protoss is very strong early, very strong mid game, and then late game, it's not like it's hopeless, but as we've seen today at least, Hearthstone and now DisK, it is tough. It's tough to look at an army like Zerg can do with just what you just saw and be like, I think I can go into that and win. It's like either you do that like DisK did, where you dive too deep, take a too aggressive of a fight and it goes poorly, or you're too passive, like a lot of what Hearthstone did, and they just get to this point where every single abduct is a unit you can't replace, and your interceptors get absolutely demolished by the support units, and the infestors have AoE and takeover. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, these army compositions are. It's been brutal to watch the Protoss players today, and then when we see someone like do it well, it's kind of like, oh well, it wasn't that bad, right?
Because this is actually not to be that guy, but like this is a bad fight from Dario. It comes all from one direction. He's stretched out. He used energy earlier uselessly, like I was saying, and he actually was kind of losing this fight, but losing in the sense that he was full trading with DisK, who could not afford the trade. So that's why it wasn't a lose. It was going to be a win no matter what. But he just was not ever going to lose that. It just wasn't possible.
No. I mean, I think the biggest thing that even, well, you know, I don't even know that I want to go there, but like the damage output loss from the carrier is one thing. But just the fact that you can't rebuild interceptors during a fight at all anymore, I think is another huge thing that really takes the wind out.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, you lost them all, and it's like, that's it. Carriers have to run now. There's no like, oh, get one or two more and try and re-engage. Just like, nope, you're just super dead. It's over. Get out. Yeah.
All right.
Feels really weird because carriers were so good before. And now it's like it's a trap to build them. It feels like.
Yeah, it's tough. Dario's asked for a minute. We're going to be heading into Port Alexander.
Nice.
And I think DisK has got to shake it up here a little bit because Dario, you know, we make all our jokes too about him playing really creatively and stuff, but honestly, that's an old meme. He's been playing fairly straight up, just good macro Zerg, kind of following the trend, and this last game was a good example of that. He did the ultras were kind of cute and funny and a little bit weird, but he made them work. They were going to bases, and if you warp in Zelt to try and deal with that ultra, sorry, that's not going to do it. But you got to be feeling good if you're Dario. That last game should give you a lot of confidence because at basically every stage of that, Dario was ahead and looking good.
Yeah. No, it was really well done. I mean, the only thing I thought was a little bit funny was, you know, you got the I'm scarred response to the Phoenix, which was to build 3 spores in each mineral line, which I don't think I've seen too much of. But that's what happens when you have practice on Americas, right? People just do the weirdest stuff. We're counting down.
The Mass Phoenix, I think one of the mistakes that Zerg players do make is under-making spore crawlers. And 3, yes, it's a little bit much, but it's not like 2's the perfect number. So it was okay.
You're right.
DisK did, and maybe DisK did in response to that. But again, there are Protoss players that will have 20 Phoenix show up, and if you have 2 spore crawlers, they ignore it. They pick up the whole mineral line. Doesn't matter. It's not like
That's
3
fair.
necessarily stops that, but it helps.
That's fair. So we are, I guess, in the late game, right? They ended up having a little bit more value because you can move them towards the front. So it's like the longest of cons. But we're loaded in to game number 2 here on Port Alexander. In the bottom right, we have the red Zerg player. He is TLO. Those prize earnings, $99,800.
Yeah, he's 200 away.
This tournament should put him over.
I think it's guaranteed to, right?
Yeah. I don't know what the minimum if he lost right now would be, to be honest with you.
Listen, I'll give him $200 if it's just
Okay, all right.
just get him there.
All right.
Do it.
Okay.
Who is this?
In the top left, the blue Protoss. He is DisK.
And he's ways off.
Yeah.
On $76, so he's, by my calculations, $99,924 off. So he's got a.
Yeah, there's a bit of a gap there.
Yeah.
But
I'm not going to give him that.
What that does say is this is definitely as good as he's done, right? To get up here and be up here.
Yes.
Playing like this is a huge opportunity for him. That's what the point of this whole system is. Otherwise, we would just have invite-only tournaments with the best players and be like, yes, well, duh, obviously you guys belong here. So
have Husky commentate it.
Yeah.
And Red Eye host it is what I would probably do.
Yep. Yep. The rest of us would all be getting them coffee, I imagine. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
if I'm qualified.
Rotterdam would be streaming.
Yeah.
Rotterdam would
That's
be
fair.
streaming.
That's fair.
The rest of us, no, we wouldn't be getting them coffee because that's too expensive as well, probably.
Yeah, fair.
Just to get us out here would be too expensive. I think what I would have them do is have Tastoses get them coffee, but then get Tastoses coffee, so it's a circle of coffee. And
Oh, I see. A closed loop. Nice.
Yep. And then I'd have Red Eye do the instructional videos on kind of what they find in the games themselves. Not Red Eye, excuse me, Apollo. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, yeah. I heard his next tutorial's finally coming out. So
Yep.
Can't wait.
Summer 2020 is what he said way back in the day, and it's.
Can't wait. I heard it's being split into 2 parts as well.
I hope so.
2
I don't
hours
want
and
to
3
wait all
hours.
this time and then just have a single video. Like, that's so anticlimactic. Imagine the Avengers film, but instead of doing 2 movies, they did 1 6-hour block. It's like
Yeah,
dies
no.
one scene, and then the next scene where like
No, you can't have that.
Thanos is dying or something like that on his farm. I don't like that.
No,
Split it up.
it's got to be split. Yeah.
What do you do, DisK?
What's
do you
it
do?
going to be?
He's got a Phoenix coming out first. He's going to try to snipe the overloads on his side of the map. Unfortunately for him, it's just the one. Dario sees everything already.
Yeah, was like Phoenix into Oracle not a crazy surprising thing to see?
No.
Is he going to commit to a bunch of the Phoenix? Questions we ask ourselves. He's going to kill the Overlord, right? And there's the Oracle behind it.
Yep, standard stuff. He's trying to play this deadly game with the Lings. I was just going to say, he actually does let that finish.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Losing the Adepts at the end of the world, but it kind of sucks. These are Speedlings, and they're very fast Speedlings, so shutting down a lot of intel pretty early on.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Nice map control for Dario. And I think you also have the option there now to just send the links around the map. Make sure that there's nothing hidden anywhere if you want to. Obviously, be sitting inside the front of the base, you can try to deny a third base. But look at this. It's a second Stargate again.
Yeah. Presumably for Phoenix, I'd love to see him go full NA and make some oracles. Mass oracles.
Take a page. Yeah. Oh, is it? I feel like I would make this joke, but I feel like it's like a disservice to say it's like the M canning thing. But he was the last guy that we saw that kind of really did this hard in the WCS out here. Actually, it was on this map too. Yeah.
It is actually oracles,
Nice.
but just 2 Stargates. I'm like, you know what? Commit.
Yeah.
3 Stargates. I'm
If
excited.
you're gonna do it,
2, come on.
if you're gonna do it, do it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
Don't do it and like barely do it.
Yeah. Go full.
Go 5 Stargate Oracle. No
I'm
big
gonna
deal.
reveal it at like 6 or 8, but my dream of dreams is 20.
Transition
What is
into Void Rays once you need to.
What is
Easy.
that Protoss doing in there? And then 20 oracles show up. What do you do?
What army beats Oracle Void Ray in control? Nothing. Except Infested Terrans. Otherwise, you're good.
Hydra's probably with Queens.
Maybe.
That also just beats everything, though. It's kind of a
You're-
lame answer.
Yeah, don't be ridiculous.
Well, Mr. Dario's trying to get this information. Sees the usual blockings at that third, but there's been no drop Archon. There's been no Adept shade out. So it kind of limits things down to a few things. And he did face double Stargates. So you can see Spore Crawler's already going up. Probably not going to be 3 per mineral line. I would guess just the 1. Anchored by some Queens. This is part of the problem. Dario's not really doing this, but I find that a lot of Zergs, their answer can be like, hey, I don't know what you're doing. I'll make an Overseer and dive into your base, but in the meantime, I'll just keep making Queens. I'll go up to like 8 Queens. Because that should sound so much of what the Protoss can do, but he's not really doing that.
No.
He only has 5 Queens, which is a pretty paltry number is what I would say.
Yeah,
And
and
a dead base, though.
it can be
Or-
pretty useful for dealing with stuff like this many oracles to have those extra queens up. But no, he's got enough to microwave all those units down.
Yeah.
So not bad there. The follow up, by the way, again, double Robo. And is he just going to go into Colossus again out of this? Seems so. There's the Forge. There's the Robo Bay.
He's like, sweet, let's take this to the late game now.
He started an Immortal, cancel it, went straight to a Prism. So I'm wondering if his goal is just drop some Adepts or something. He doesn't have Twilight Tech, really. And the Oracles show up, trying to microwave some Queens.
And that's okay. The problem with this is, this number is weird. It can fight those queens right there, cool. But it can't dive on a Spore Crawler and now clear out a mineral line. So if you just traded 3 or 4 Oracles for 3 queens, guess what? Well, the Zerg wins. And this counterattack by Dario is pretty smart. There's going to be some energy here. Actually quite a bit, I think. Surprising amount.
Yeah, that's a surprising amount of energy on these guys. So the Zerglings are going to go from the left side, try to get on top of these probes. Everything else is going to focus on the Banelings. And the shield batteries will be drained of their reserves, so these Zerglings can continue to chase the probes as far as they can.
And all of this is winning space for the Spire. So we were making jokes about what beats Oracle Void Ray. And Void Rays would be nice, but he doesn't even know the Spire exists. He has no idea what the fault behind this is because Dario's keeping him so occupied with Lings. And the Lings are trading pretty well. They're getting energy off the Oracles defensively, which is already good. They're killing probes on each trip. It's just been pretty smart, methodical play from Mr. Dario.
Yeah. Do you think the plan here is to only build these 5 mutas to bait him into building Phoenix?
He's getting, well, he canceled +1 air attack, so Mr. Nathanius, you turn out to be pretty smart. It's too bad. I know that there's already 2 Stargates, but if you show up with 20 mutas, they do so much damage so immediately.
Well, he knows, he should have an idea of where the Stargates are as well, right? Like either in the main or the natural, if he just jumps in on them and you snipe that pylon or 2. Assuming, you know, that he doesn't have it super well protected.
Yeah.
Even then, the Stargates themselves are not a terrible target, because that's it. That's all you got.
1 shot.
1 opportunity.
Yep. Spaghetti. And now, there's going to be a... Okay.
Wow. Oh, I just kind of showed them immediately. And he wants to use the Banelings to bust this wall open with it.
I mean,
right oh my god, the Colossus. What are you doing?
Just stomps on the force field.
That was
I don't like this from Dario. I mean, he's still in an okay position, but like, to show the 5 mutas, that's just such a weird number because anything from the Protoss can respond to that. So he's going to immediately start up Phoenix. He warped in the Stalkers. The Stalkers were immediately the answer for that. And while this harass has been good from Dario, he hasn't really killed the probe count. DisK is at 71.
Yeah, and I mean, this hasn't really been that great for him. Like, he's got a 4th base, Dario, but he's not, it's not saturated. There's not much going on there. Now the mutas come inside the main. They get something done. So this is nice because Blink isn't ready, but Phoenix are coming out. There's just 2 of them here. Some Stalkers being added as well. Very awkward situation.
It is. And he's still making mutas, and I'm liking it less and less as we go. I would have liked if he kept the +1 air upgrade going, but he's not that saturated. He's actually down in workers like we talked about. He is up a base, so that's of course favorable to him. And it's like he showed the few mutas, and then DisK started to respond to it, and then he's like, no, but I'm actually making more. So your response is now investing into what you need. Like, I showed you what you need to do, and now you're doing it. Whereas if he just would have showed up with like 12 or 15 mutas or more, I think that's when DisK would start to respond, and then he'd be taking severe damage. Like I said, Darius still might win, but not liking it. Lurkers now?
Yeah.
And then he starts +1 air attack?
This game is so weird. He's got the Prism up here, sees this. Charge is only just now starting, so it's going to be a little ways off. Just grab a couple drones, I guess. No big deal. This probe gets picked immediately. A couple Archons are going to get added to this army. And looks like we're going for another long one here, Jeff.
If DisK will let him, there's an infestation pit, a lurker den. Like, he's doing so much, is Dario. DisK has been sitting on 3 bases. He's starting to take his 4th. I really feel like if he just kind of starts to get some Stalkers out, he can just snowball and go kill Dario, but will he know that?
Yeah, he's just going to be stuck in here forever. Trapped inside my own base.
A love story by DisK.
And the Oracles are like, what about us? Kill us too. But look at what's happening behind this. If Dario can get lurkers out, maybe. But even then, the army of DisK is already pretty okay against lurkers. Obviously, nothing is super okay except for an air army against, like, a ton. But even these Phoenix that are coming out pick up lurkers. And if you lose all the mutas, you know, like, it's getting kind of weird.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're past weird for this. Oracles are going to come over here now with these Zealots to help. if they turn their pulsar beams on.
Yeah, if they decide to.
Yep, there we go. And these oracles will do. Yeah, they have no problem microwaving that base. Some more Phoenix come out. 4th Nexus is on the way.
Probably have to recall back. The Mutas should intercept them here. Awesome Sauces want to see it. It's too violent. There we go.
There you go. Gets 1, 2, and I think 3 of the oracles make it back.
And now they're no longer aggressive oracles. They just
No.
turn into reveal oracles.
So let's see it. He's got an army here. No Warp Prism. Stepping on creep outside the opponent's base. Bit risky. Oracles are coming to join. Well, you talked about it. The Lurkers. He bought a lot of time. He's got the Lurkers out now. Needs to make sure he gets Revelation on him. Actually misses the most forward Lurker with that Revelation scan. And the Mutas are going to get the Warp Prism. And that's a great grab there for Dario. Big Link counterattack. 2 batteries and 2 cannons. With some weapons.
Good damage there from those Zealots as well. But the Lings, I think they're getting a full surround there. The army shows up. And this is going to be DisK kind of realizing that Dario doesn't have much in the way of an army that can stop this. Yes, he's got Lurkers for defense, but they don't respond to this very well. They're probably setting up down there to defend the 3rd, but this puts Dario on 3 bases.
Yeah.
So he's...
Oh, DisK looks like he has this in the
Yeah,
bag. Short of walking into Lurkers, I'm not entirely sure how TLO is going to be able to take this one off of him.
yeah.
At this point in the last game when he wanted to move out, like, he hadn't made this weird, you know, I'm going to go through a Mutalisk phase, Mom and Dad. He was like, no, I'm just going to go Broodlord and Fester, and that should be good. But no, there's the recall. Loses some probes, but it's still ahead. And he's got a 4th base. The Protoss is up a base on the Zerg, which is never good. It's never good for the Zerg.
Yeah. And therein lies the problem. Like, Dario should push out and try to take a 4th base, but when he does, he's asking that his Lurkers and sack defenses cover everything. And on this map, that's not really the case. You can split him up and try to defend, but then, of course, he's dividing his already diminished forces. And look at the number of Lurkers. So he's kind of all in on this. And like you said, I believe the scenario is literally if the Protoss walks onto this army, yes, it dies. Short of that, him just picking and prodding and just being up a base or 2 should be the winning strategy.
Yeah, right here. It's just like, yep, come up here, get a few hits. I think the Lurkers have adaptive talons, so that's the one thing that Dario has. He can reposition them a little bit more effectively, but we know that there's some other good ranged units.
Colossus did not have range this whole time.
Oh, wow, nice.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Hey, Cero forgot the upgrade to burrow his Lurkers, so
That's true.
if
you're
he
thinking
can do
about it,
DisK can do it.
DisK is on the same level as Cyril there.
Yeah, I think that's actually what that says.
Yeah. A lot of brilliance being shown here.
Artosis said that on the pilot show this last episode.
Well, if Artosis said it, then yeah.
Yeah.
DisK next Bone Schwa confirmed.
Okay. Now this army on the aggression here is pretty darn good actually, especially those Colossus not having range.
Yeah, that's really awkward here. So a couple of the Lurkers are going to get picked up. There's an observer here that can spot. We don't really have the typical, like, terrifying Zerg anti-air to focus fire down the observers. And yeah, everything's dead. All right, game 3. Let's go.
Okay.
That was a weird one. Another very odd game. Some very odd choices made. But made together. That's why we're all here.
Sometimes these games feel a little bit like the scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail when they like refer to Camelot. They're like, it's a silly place. And you like look into Camelot.
And you see that game.
You see that game. Dario was doing really, really well. And then he decided to go into 6 tech paths.
At once.
And all of them were just like weird half commitments, except for the Lurker in the end. He was all about that. But like, only on 4 bases, doing some economic damage to the Mutas. That's okay. Kind of investing in Mutas. Like, he went up to, I think the most he had was 12 to 15, but he did it incrementally, so they never seemed to be effective.
They died in waves. Yeah, it was really odd. Like, I'm with you. I think it's like you kind of pocket up to maybe like 15, 17 of them, and then you just swoop in, and then the Protoss get caught off guard. You can't just warp in a bunch of stalkers like that.
Well, or you do what you just said, or you suggested in the game, which is make 6, show up, probably don't do that much, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But get them to start making 6, 7, 8 Phoenix, get them to build photon cans in the mineral lines, get them to be defensive. Meanwhile, you're switching to something else. And then all of a sudden, Phoenix are trying to pick up Lurkers in the middle of like a, you know, 200 clash with 30 Hydras behind it. They just don't last. They won't do anything. But because Dario kind of, again, goaded him into the reaction and then fed into the reaction.
Yeah. He's like, I made you build Phoenix. I'll keep building Mutalisks.
Yeah.
And no.
Didn't work out.
No, that's not how you do it. King's Cove for the final map. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's get her done. Here we have in the top left our red Zerg player. He is TLO.
It's a little one. Could have been the large one, though.
Could have been.
It's important to know the name.
Not enough protein, not enough gains.
And in the bottom right-hand side, tying up the series, it's Storm DisK. Did you know his name with the letters mixed around could be Skid?
I never thought about that.
Isn't that interesting?
Never thought about that. Could also name himself Kids if he wanted to.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah.
What would be some others that he could do? Nate, what are you thinking?
I don't know.
You don't know?
SDKI, Software Development Kit Interface.
Well, I'm stumped. I'm trying to think about swapping a couple of these letters around. Like, I want to start with the D and the I. But then that K and S, Nate, what do you do?
Not so sure myself, Jeffrey.
Yeah?
Not so sure myself.
No, it's not for us to decide, I guess. He decided on DisK, and that's where we're going to be. So
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Maybe he'll build some Zealots as if you were to switch around TLO's letters.
Is it in there?
Lot. Yeah, lot.
Oh, lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a half pun. It is the little one after all.
It's true. You know what's important about Dario, too? He's always been a pretty petite-shaped guy, you know? But what if he did have that couple of years where he put it a few
Well, it'd be
on?
like the Crash Bandicoot villain. It's like tiny. It's just this hulking behemoth.
Yeah, but probably not that cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually when you put on weight and you call yourself a little one, people are a little bit more savage about it than the
Yeah.
cartoon that nobody played.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey, we got a proxy.
Yeah. There's something interesting happening. Something different. Something fresh and popping. I can't wait.
Dario's about to get some NA here. I think that's Twilight Council.
Proxy Void Race.
No,
It's very DisK.
it is a Stargate.
He's going to warp in.
I don't know about that,
some
man.
Stalkers, and
It's
he's
like-
going to have a Void Ray.
You do 2 games of double Stargate, and then third game you're like, surely he won't expect the Stargate, but outside my base. I mean, it's that weird thing, though, where, like, you know, Dario scouts and doesn't see it. He's like, well, maybe he's just not doing Stargate. And then all of a sudden, ba-dam!
He finally changed his game plan.
Yeah.
Did he, though?
Did he, though? These lings are going to get in if there's not.
I like the Adepts there, but it's like, rest of your wall. Breh.
We're
All right, Oracle. Proxy Oracle.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Let's see it.
He's going to get in. Oh, no. That Adept just in time. Wow.
Nice.
Pretty cool attack from the Oracles, by the way. They, like, chuck a psionic, like, frisbee at you.
Yeah, the glaive.
The Overlord is getting the Tour de Base.
And it's like a glaive cannon as well.
Oh my
on
God,
that,
the
right?
proxy Stargate! How does Dario know? How does he know? He just sent a link right to it. This is the part in the stream where I go, wow, all right.
Close the stream, buddy.
Thanks a lot, stream sniper.
Can't beat me on your own terms.
The Oracle shows up. I think there's a sport caller in the main.
Just reminds me of that Neuro video came out like a day ago. It's like, oh yeah, why'd you just decide to suddenly turn around the other side of the map for no reason without scouting anything?
Yeah.
Well, these players are just that smart, Jeff.
And that Overlord is watching the next tech as well. So whenever, if you didn't know this, it's a Protoss. When you add your gases after an opening, that is the white flag of like surrender for that. So Stargate phase is done. The Robo by itself comes up. And part
Just
of the
the one
problem is the
Robo.
map control of the speedlings now, by the way. So with the one Oracle, usually that's what you use to lock down for a third. You can make enough lings to just be like, no, I don't care about the one Oracle, and you're not going to take a third.
Yep.
It's a bit all in, though. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing. I'm honestly just like, He went Twilight Robo. So is he going to do a normal follow-up like Archon drop?
If he
we gonna
does,
see
I'll
something?
be baffled because it feels like you can open up in any way, shape, or form and then just Archon drop after. Except for me. I cannot. I'm like, you know what? I'll try the Archon drop. All the kids are doing 46 Hydras, slam it out of the sky, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, no.
How did that happen?
I don't like that build at all. Go straight to charge. There's
No,
Temple
it's not.
Archives.
Yeah, it's not Archon drop.
You could still do it.
Nah, it's just normal stuff.
Okay.
It is just it's a normal stuff. You don't take a third. I mean, it's we were being a little silly anyways. You really can't do Archon drop after a failed proxy Stargate, but
Roger that.
you also don't make an observer first, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Need more gateways, etc. Etc. Now, what did Dario do with his advantage? He's kind of just teching along normally as well. He was fairly low econ, though, because of the speed at which the stuff happened. It was a very good opening for him. And he's at 65 drones, so he's doing very well. But we saw in the past, like when Hearthstone lost his Warp Prism and stuff like that, immediately you take your fourth. Like, you get a reward for that. In this case, Dario is... his reward is just, like, letting DisK fall on his face, I guess.
Which there can be some joy to be found.
Yeah, yeah. Stop
Don't kill
hitting
those
these
rocks.
rocks.
They're my brother. My brother.
Dustin Barada would not like it. Actually, he probably would. He loves the he loved the interaction of the rocks. And now Lings show up. They see some of these Templar. Can be for Archons or can be for Storm.
We must protect these rocks. Yep. So that Side Storm's coming in like you're talking about. Roach speed halfway done. Roaches are starting to come out in decent numbers. +1 attack is almost ready for them. But Side Storm with a decent bit of energy should be available soon on these High Templar.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit difficult to push in.
Would you say it's a decent tech path, Nate?
It's decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side Storm's all right. You know?
What if in Carries On are we mid-cast do a caster chicken?
Only if we get another
Poor
game
Carrie.
on. Only if there's another PvZ on year 0.
Yeah. Well, there will be somehow.
Yeah.
Because Dario's super going to win this one. Unless he just...
Well, he has to play another match against Protoss no matter what.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So.
Your wall becomes my wall, says Dario. Good luck with your charge blocks.
Should have got the pylon though, right?
I think that was a
Got
storm drop
pops.
that killed 7 drones. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Mortal pops out to a world of roaches in his face.
Oh my god. Oh, wow. It's dead. How about that?
Yeah, and he's warping in Stalkers because Zealots are just not a good answer here, but that's not what he invested in, right? He got Charge. You know, though, Spire's about to finish, and this is the kind of weird thing that some players do, and I'm going to say it, and I know that this is, like, haunted Dario, and I feel bad for him because he doesn't deserve this much credit. Oh, my God, and he's going to drop a Lords. But, like, sometimes... Oh, everything about what I just looked at. Sometimes he gets too creative. Like, he just got a lot of damage done with Roaches, but instead of reinforcing it or rebuilding the drones that he just lost in the background, he's at 73, which is okay. He's going into, like, 4 tech paths now with the Infestation Pit, which is, like, maybe he's far enough ahead that it doesn't matter. But imagine this attack with, like, 15 more Roaches right now.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
man,
just over.
It's over.
But instead, he's, like, you know, 7 meters are coming out, Infestation Pit's finishing. But in Dario's defense, this is how he wins and loses, right? Like, he's going to win off of these tech switches, and sometimes he loses, yes, but that's his playstyle, so.
Yep. I mean,
suck it, caster.
I hope that he just doesn't commit too hard into it, but the mutas are coming out.
Yeah,
he
kill
did
the
force a
stalkers.
double Stargate when it got scouted, so.
But, like, the double Stargate's a really good response.
Yep.
And that's part of the reason why DisK was able to win last game.
Because he did that, and then he's like, all right, now that I've forced you to build Stargates, I'm going to actually mass mutas and die a horrible, painful death.
Well, here come those mutas. They're heading towards the natural.
He's building Hydras. He didn't get a crazy amount of mutas, right? So
Nope.
as long as he stopped, like stop at the 7, get a little, you know, take a jab or 2, and get into that actual real tech that's gonna allow you to win this game.
Yep. And that would be the cool move, and he is doing that. So he's just going to have those 7 meters. They showed up, got a probe or 2, backed off, but it's pure Hydra behind that, and the Phoenix really don't contribute to that fight. And DisK was already kind of depleted. He's down to 60 workers, which again is not terrible. It's more just that he tried a few things, they didn't really work. He did some harass, it didn't work. And now he's kind of sitting back here with this. and the army is just very lackluster. The positioning of TLO has been fantastic.
Yep. Like this, he checks forward with the mutas and actually baits one of these Phoenix a little bit far away from everyone else. So the Roaches are able to get on top of the probes there. Mutas are going to zip through the center. And if he sees that army leave the third base, well, he's got units outside of there too that he'd more than happy to send over. 10 probes killed, and TLO is he's starting to drop the hammer now.
He's doubling the supply. The Natural's not mining. Dario's going to back up here. The Zealots that got warped in to deal with this are obviously, that's the Protoss response, but they're bad against the Roaches, so they actually didn't just kill probes, they killed a fair number of Zealots as well, and now they're in the main.
Yep. We'll finally be able to clean these up. But, Jeff, at what cost?
What cost? At what cost?
Now, Dario is only on 4 bases behind this, but the amount of like silver lining I can try to illustrate for you, the listening and viewing audience, is very little. That is the army of DisK right there. And does that look like the kind of army that Zergs would whine and complain about and shudder in their pants? Yes, but should they? No.
Yeah.
No, they would not.
Yeah. No, this doesn't end well. This doesn't end
It's just been all about this natural run by too. That's the funny thing. It's like, here I go again.
Yeah, and it's really good positional usage. I mean,
Yeah.
this was my biggest irk with some of our PvZs earlier today. It was just like it was so focused on one front, but TLO's done a really good job of stretching out the map and taking advantage of these multiple positions. And now he's kind of like got this really nice weird concave where a lot of his units are actually blocked by by DisK's buildings.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's going to be 4 base versus 2 base, so he's
Super dead.
Yeah.
He abandoned the natural. It is gone. Dario is backing up for reasons that really only he and just him.
Yeah,
Just him understands.
Just him knows. Okay,
You
well,
ever
it's
seen
over.
a Zerg
GG.
retreat and the guy GG's? It's like,
Yeah. DisK is like, really? You're not going to come kill me?
yeah,
He's
I guess
like,
it's over.
he's like, are you trying to play with me here? Well,
Dario's like, I honestly thought I could not take the fight. I had 130 supply versus
You know that's what- you know that's what he'll
26,
say.
and I didn't
You're
think I
like-
could do it.
it's like, have you ever pushed into a choke versus Storm? It's like,
The Protoss units have shields that rebuild, and they had Phoenix in the air in Storm. It's not possible. He only surrendered because he knew that I was more powerful.
is that TLO or Hero
just is
Marine?
German.
Yeah, that's fair.
The nice thing about it is the worst impression you do, there's people who are like, that's not a good impression! And they get upset, and you're like, that was the point. And they're like, I hate you.
I wasn't deliberately trying to sound like a real person.
Yeah.
Anyway, great victory there for TLO as he advances on to the winner's match. And we all know what that means. So he's going to be playing versus Puck. But our next series will be the lower bracket friendly match in Control.
Yeah.
Be Raze against DisK. More American PvP coming at you after the break.